Hello everyone, and well basically what happened is that the audio mucked up last video while I was playing the boss. And so, so the audio mucked up and I gave a review of Banjo Tooie for, I don't know, like 20, it was a really long review. I just kept chatting for a while, 20 minutes. And I thought that was important to, to record. Especially, it's good to have thoughts of a game, just to share your opinion of things. Well, video games are an art, and it's good to commentate. Well, and of course, like, I just played this game, why not give a review, give my thoughts on it, even though you've heard basically a lot of it in the past couple of videos anyway. Yeah, so because I gave that review, and you couldn't hear it because the audio was dodgy, so what I've done is I cut out that bit from the previous video, which was meant to be the last video, but it's not anymore. I cut out that bit, and I'm just gonna re-record my thoughts again, hopefully with good audio this time. Come on, game. I'm just gonna be walking around while I do so, because bored, why not? Have some background music, blah blah blah, etc etc. Is that all I need to say before we get going? I think so. Yeah, so we defeated Gruntilda. We finished the game. Overall, I am really happy. I'm very impressed with how they made the sequel. It's usually sequels are really disappointing, or usually, Banjo-Kazooie was exceptional. It was great, and to make a sequel of such a quality was always going to be a difficult task. The amount of disappointing sequels that everyone's experienced over their lives. Good to know Gruntilda also still exists, even though she's technically dead. Anyway, let's not go to Witchy World. Let's go to a more pleasant place. Yeah, so it was always going to be difficult, and I think they did an exceptional job doing this sequel. Everything, in many ways, it lived up to expectations and even more. So, good job. Rare has done a very good game. It's no wonder this game has won awards. Well, has it actually? I don't know, I need to look it up. I think it has. And, it's very critically acclaimed. Everyone I've talked to about this game, they say they love it. So, congratulations for a very good game. Now, I described last video just my favorite worlds, and I'll quickly go over those again, I guess. Yeah, so Cloud Cuckoo Land is number one. I love the atmosphere with that. I love the colors, just the whole idea it was going for. It really appealed to me. Second would be Pterodactyl Land. There was lots to do, a lot of variety, lots of characters to get involved with, and overall, once again, a good vibe going on as well. Third would be Hailfire Peaks. I love the idea of the contrasting worlds, but I felt a bit more could have been done with that. Next would be Jolly Roger's Lagoon. Again, great atmosphere, although the swimming was a bit tedious, but it was a good underwater world with, once again, very pretty, very nice to look at. And then that's followed by probably... Have I left out anything? Probably left out by Mayhem... probably followed... Sorry. I need to get my words together. As I've said before, I'm not a very good speaker. I'm very good reading, writing, typing, but not so much public speaking or just speaking in general. I do stutter a lot as well. The next world, the next world would be, after Jolly Roger's Lagoon, would probably be a tie between Mayhem Temple. Oh, no, it wasn't Mayhem Temple. It was Grunty's Industries. I really enjoyed the difficulty of that world, and it did very well for what it is. I didn't particularly love what it was, but it did a really good job at it. Next would be Mayhem Temple and Glitter Gulch Mine. They were just very solid, no problems at all. Just good starter worlds too. And then unfortunately Witchy World last because I found the overload of minigames a bit too much, and also I didn't really relate of just kind of the atmosphere was going. It just kind of felt a bit empty. I feel maybe a lot more interactive characters would have helped out that world, or maybe yeah. I think so. Just feel like it just needed a bit more life to it. It just felt lifeless. Come on. Anyway, so we'll just fly around on our favorite world so far. Enjoy the sights while I continue, I guess, with this review. Now, okay, yeah. So I've ranked those worlds, and overall, however, I feel like Banjo Kazooie had better worlds overall, just as a complete package. This is for several reasons. One, I feel the Banjo Kazooie worlds had much more character and uniqueness and individuality to them. This, for the most part, like, you know, these worlds were comparable to other worlds. It's like, oh yeah, Mayhem Temple. It's like the Mumbo's Mountain equivalent, and Grunty Industries is like the Rusty Bucket Bay equivalent. And you know, when you start making those comparisons, it doesn't really do justice to the real actual worlds. But yeah, I feel these worlds just didn't have as much character as they could. This world, Cloud Cuckoo Land certainly did. But in particular, the first three worlds, Hailfire Peaks even, in fact, most of them, bar Pterodactyl Land in this world, I felt just was just ever so slightly, just a bit lackluster. And that comes down to a number of reasons. The music plays a big part for me. You know, I'm a music student, I review music, I listen to music almost 24/7. I felt the soundtrack to this game was, again, a little bit lackluster. When you think of worlds like Glitter Gulch Mine, or even Hailfire Peaks, I can't remember the soundtrack, to be honest. Those soundtracks weren't particularly memorable. Compare that to the soundtrack for this world, for example. I definitely remember the music behind this world because I found it really kooky, it was very fitting, it was very suitable, and it definitely gave this world a lot of life and a lot of character. Now, if you compare that to, for example, Treasure Trove Cove, Rusty Bucket Bay, Mad Monster Mansion, those themes are very distinct. Those musical themes and soundtracks were very distinct and definitely gave a lot of life, individuality, a kind of uniqueness to those worlds. I can remember the tunes to those worlds very, very easily. Yet this one is a bit of a struggle. So in turn, the music also, I really liked the use of characters. Maybe that could have been done a bit more. I don't know. And what am I doing actually? And you know, and when you compare Click Clock Wood to, well, look, Click Clock Wood is my prime example because, okay, I'm gonna die. Because Click Clock Wood is my favorite world. Unfortunately, none of the worlds in this game managed to beat Click Clock Wood. I think that is by far my favorite world of the entire series. I'm a very naturey sort of person, so just the whole idea of Click Clock Wood encompassing nature, you know, climbing up trees, interacting with animals, that I really like that sort of thing. Not to mention a fantastic soundtrack, a very, very puzzly, a wide variety, a wide variety in terms of puzzles and jiggies that you need to collect. The whole idea of the 4 seasons was absolutely perfect. Not to mention that the whole world feels really alive, especially in autumn because there's just so many characters that you have to deal with. From Nabnut to Eri to the beaver to the plant to Gobi. You know, it just gave the world a lot of life. So I will be comparing to Click Clock Wood a lot of the time because that, to me, that is my perfect example of the perfect world. In this sort of game. So yeah, a lot of worlds, they couldn't really match Click Clock Wood. They were very good and very solid, don't get me wrong. But I felt they had potential to reach up to that quality that Click Clock Wood has, and unfortunately not a lot of worlds managed to do that. Particularly Mayhem Temple, that did it. Really Gold to Mine was a bit boring. Witchy World was memorable, but that wasn't my sort of thing. Hailfire Peaks, yeah. So yeah, these all got to a good level, but I felt they just could have been slightly better. Now bear in mind that when I'm comparing to Banjo Kazooie as well, that's like a 10 out of 10 game for me, and this game is like a 9.5 out of 10. Like I'm making, you know, the smallest criticisms of a very fantastic game. Also, it's quite possible that I could be downrating and I could be being a bit more critical for Banjo Tooie because it's been 7, 8 years since I played Banjo Kazooie, and you know, I was 10, 12 then, and here I am, a 19-year-old adolescent uni student. Obviously I'm a lot more mature, I know a lot more things about the world, so obviously my expectations probably would have risen a lot higher than what this game was intending to achieve, given that this game is, you know, it's for kids. So in fact it could probably be 10 out of 10 games, but because I played Banjo Kazooie first at the moment, and due to nostalgia as well, which does play a factor in how I rate things, I will have to rate that a bit higher at the moment. Just in terms of improvements from Banjo Kazooie, I really loved how complex the worlds are, the intercomplexity, being able to go between worlds. That just made such a cool idea. Really, and it really enhanced the experience as well. Worlds were a lot bigger, puzzles were a lot trickier. Also, the new moves were fantastic. The idea of splitting Banjo Kazooie, very well done. And this is where I regret not getting foolproof. Also, the new moves, they were fantastic. I couldn't. They were very well done, and really made the game keep going. In terms of momentum, because if this game was entirely consisted of just the Banjo Kazooie moves, it would have been very boring. You would lose interest very quickly without something new. Oh, why didn't I just go up here from Witchy World? Anyway, yeah, so the new moves were fantastic. Next, the first-person shooter and the mini games. That's right. Those were again very fantastic additions. Because, you know, it really caught me off guard. I really wasn't expecting like puzzles and mini games where you had to, you know, shoot stuff and you know, get involved in a first-person context. So that was really good, and they didn't overdo the first-person shooter either. I think there was only 3 jiggies related to first-person. Oh, there were 4. I think, if I remember correctly, plus the boss. So, you know, not overdone at all. They had a really right balance of things. As for the mini games, look, I did find them a bit annoying. Some were more creative than others, but you know, I think that's the way with mini games. You'll like some, you won't like others, and that's just the way it is. If I had to rate my favorite mini games, number 1 would be. Ooh, let me think. No, I've forgotten my mini games. How about I go through each world? The Kickball Stadium, fantastic. That's definitely my top 3. I really like that. Glitter Got to Mine minigame. What even was that? I don't think they had minigames except from the shooter. Never mind then. Witchy World. Look. The balloon jump, the ones in the jumping castle were a bit boring. I really enjoyed the dodging cars though, that was great. And oh, and the flying saucer. Flying saucer is probably my favorite minigame. Also, the Cloud Cuckoo Land minigames were very good, partly because I was able to work them out very quickly, which always helps. Leave me alone. I would say the packaging minigame in Grunty Industries was also a very clever concept, and I really liked that. What other improvements? The new setup with the items and the notes. To be honest, it was a nice change, but it doesn't really help. I kind of missed collecting 100 notes, and then if you didn't get 100, you had to go back. As painful as it was, I kind of missed that. But the emphasis this time was much more on jiggies and on the honeycombs and the cheater pages. So yeah. Where should we go next? As usual, the banter was very good. I loved the chat between Kazooie and Banjo and Kazooie especially. Her sort of humor is exactly kind of it's what I find really hilarious. So I'm really glad, and also taking opportunity to take parody at things. You know, Kazooie and Banjo commenting about the music. Oh look, the boss music's about to start. Where's the boss? What's happening? It wasn't forced at all. It was very natural, and they just did a very solid job of keeping the dialogue very entertaining, which is a huge plus for me when I look for games. Also, the recurring characters were very nice to see. Good to see Blubber, Boggy. Wasn't expecting them at all. Who else? Blubber, Boggy, Tip-Top. Oh, Tip-Top was new. But plenty of recurring characters. I can't be bothered. I also liked giving the Jinjos a backstory. I mentioned that a while ago. It really gave them. It's not like they didn't have a purpose in the last game, but this time it really gave them an extra dimension. It made them a lot more interesting, especially with the Minjos as well. It just made collecting them a lot more purposeful, a lot more enjoyable, and much more satisfying. So I really liked what they've done with the Jinjos. Now for Mumbo, I did mention that I wasn't the biggest fan of using Mumbo. I felt, yeah, like I can't complain with the concept, but it just doesn't really grab me. Like, if I told my friends about Banjo Tooie, oh, you can use Mumbo. Using Mumbo wouldn't be one of the most exciting things about the game, and that's partially because I feel Mumbo is underused. If you could maybe learn a new move from Jam Jars for Mumbo, then I think that could have made him a lot more interesting. But they didn't really go ahead with that, so I guess that's just too bad. As for Wumba, nice introducing her. I don't really know what her purpose was, aside from replacing Mumbo. But it was good to have her. My favorite transformations. Hello. My favorite What is that? Oh, that's just a bed. I thought that was a snowball or something. Now, my favorite transformations would be I forgot what my favorites were. Oh, my favorite is definitely the invincible truck. I just loved driving around, not doing anything, literally hitting everything, being invincible, and it was just all around great fun. My second favorite transformation would be, so the feathers of red. My second favorite transformation, would be Stony. I really liked what they did with the other stone characters. You know, the idea that you couldn't talk to them unless you were a stone yourself. That was pretty neat. Also added to a lot of humor. Just being able to add, you know, the banter of not being able to understand and whatnot. I also really enjoyed the bee transformation. It was great to bring him back and give him an attack as well. Now the other transformations, I'm afraid, weren't so great. For example, the detonator was by far my least favorite. Not to mention, controlling him was terrible, and your attack consisted of you losing health? I mean, come on. That's really annoying. And just overall frustrating. And how about the washing machine? I really liked keeping the joke of having the washing machine in from Banjo Kazooie, but unfortunately the washing machine was just useless. But then again, what else can you do? It's a freaking washing machine. So I guess they couldn't do much with the washing machine, but good job putting it in, I guess. The submarine I felt a bit pointless. You only really needed it for the mini game. Even though it had nice attacks, I struggled just controlling it as well. So yeah, it just felt a bit pointless. And then the snowball. Look, the snowball. Am I missing any? No, I think that's it. Oh, I don't want to go here. The snowball. Look, I dissed the snowball. I dissed the snowball a lot when I was using it. But to be honest, I really like the concept of growing big and growing small according to your health. But the problem was, you hardly ever used it. You only used it to push 2 buttons. Like, that's it. You only used it to push 2 buttons. So, while I really appreciated the concepts, I think if a lot more was done with it, I would have much liked it. Yeah, it was just useless basically, and the game didn't really give it a purpose. So if my top 3 Wombo transformations would be number 1, the invisible truck from Witchy World, number 2, Stony from Mayhem Temple, and number 3 would be the bee from Cloud Cuckoo Land. Just while we're here, the train was a fantastic idea. I liked the idea of having train stations at different worlds. That was super cool. The problem was, I was expecting a lot more use out of the tow truck thing, you know. But like, you only did the 2 dinosaurs, and that was it. So I would have expected like a super complex. You had to like carry around 4 different animals at the same time to different worlds, and actually be like a sort of train be a delivery train driver or something. I felt this concept was good. Yeah, it was nice to use for 1 or 2 G's, but I felt it would have been nice to use the wagon for another 3 or 4. Also on that note, I felt like a lot of the worlds could possibly have had more difficult jiggies. I do say this, even though I struggled with a lot of them. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like puzzle-wise, they could have made some jiggies a bit harder. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know. Where should we go while we're at it? Yeah, I felt they could have maybe done some jiggies, some puzzles a bit more. But I say that, again, as a 19-year-old uni student. This game was intended for 10, 12, 13-year-olds, I'm assuming. So maybe it was at the right difficulty. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. You know, who knows. What else do I have left to say? Oh, the bosses while I'm here. It was nice to have the bosses, but they were all basically the same. Really, like stand on the platform, shoot eggs, dodge their attacks. It did kind of get old, especially by Hailfire Peaks. But you know, yeah, it was nice to have the bosses, but and look, I will admit, Welder was a good boss. As much as I hate him, he was a good boss. Partly because he did different things each time. Things like the Witchy World boss in the massive tent, that inflatable thing. Like, ugh, that was just a bit unnecessary, to be honest. What else do I have left to say? Oh, we don't want to go back. But yeah, overall, wait, just let me pause while I gather my thoughts again. Yeah, so overall, this has been a really good game. I loved the variety. It was really good. Um, lots of different things to do. Each of the worlds were very solid in their own way. Yeah, and going on that variety, when you play games, it's kind of what you're looking for. You know, sometimes I get really tired of games like, you know, Super Smash Brothers or Super Smash Brothers or the racing games or your typical shooter games, because you're doing the same things here and there. But in a game like in adventure games like Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, you can be creative with your puzzles, and it's not only puzzles. What they did here, you know, they added first-person shooters, they added mini games, they added boss battles. So this basically had the whole lot, really. Even racing games. Maybe they could have done that a little bit more. Who knows? Yeah. So overall, the game layout, the whole design, the whole graphics, all the graphics and whatnot, the whole plot was fantastic. Once again, the use of recurring characters from last series, and also recurring characters within this game was done very well. Dialogue and characterization for everyone was really good, especially with Banjo Kazooie. I would have liked to have seen Brentilda and what's what I call it? Brentilda and Tootie. Oh my god, I've forgotten her name already. Would have liked to have seen them, but you know, it's not a big miss. And while we're talking about those characters, I felt like the boss would be you battle all three of the witches, like Grunty and her sister. I was kind of expecting that, but oh well. And that said, the trivia game was kind of lackluster compared to Furnace Fun. I really enjoyed Furnace Fun. Once again, that had variety. That's what I'm always looking for when reviewing something. It had the variety, you know, of mini games, different style of questions. This one, this quiz game was just like bang bang bang, same thing over again, question, and that just got a bit repetitive. I also found the boss, I found, maybe it was because of the regenerating health, but this boss wasn't as good as the Banjo Kazooie boss. Like, that took me ages. Furnace Fun also took me hours to do. Like 1 or 2 hours, not like 5. So, I don't know. I felt Furnace Fun and the Banjo Kazooie boss were better than the Banjo Tooie and this boss. But, you know, those are just my thoughts. Yeah, have I mentioned? But the only kind of minor issue I had with this game compared to Banjo Tooie was that compared to Banjo Kazooie, sorry, was that I felt Banjo Kazooie had the slightly better worlds. That said, you know, this game did a brilliant job of improving and building on as a sequel. So yeah, I'll give it 9.5 out of 10. Yeah. So, just while I finish up, I just want to thank you heaps for putting up with my voice, putting up with me, my noobiness, my terrible platforming. This has been a blast, really, and I cannot thank you more than enough for just watching with me, Hijinks. Yeah, it's just been a huge pleasure doing this. I've learnt a lot. As dorky as it sounds, I've learned a lot about myself, and also, you know, just things like uploading videos to YouTube, how to make videos. It's been a great learning experience overall, and you know, it was just so much fun. I can't thank you enough. And not to mention, I played a really good game in the process. So, oh, where are we? Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'll do another one of these. I'm considering Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I don't have the ROM for the emulator, and I'm going to uni in a few weeks, so I'm not going to have time afterwards. Other than that, yeah, it's been great. It's been such a pleasure. So, before I Oh, before this video hits the 30-minute mark, oh my goodness, I've been speaking for half an hour. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been heaps of fun. It's been really good, and it's been really good to do this. And I'm really happy with the outcome, and it's good to finish a fantastic game, 100% done as well. So, thank you very much, and we'll have a celebratory death, I think. Woohoo! All the best, I'll see you around.